Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about how to find a job in medical coding in 2020. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Bleu. I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. I really love sharing the things that I know with all of you. So I hope you'll take a second, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and if the end of this video helps you, I hope that you will share it. So let's get started. Okay, a lot of people are asking the question, can you find a job right now with this whole pandemic going on as a medical coder? Of course you can. Now, the tips that I'm going to share with you is what I have experienced myself. I have been there, guys. I've been in this industry for over 10 years. I've successfully gotten 4 jobs as a medical coder. And 3 out of those 4 jobs, I had less than 1 year of experience. So if I can do it, okay, it's going to take a lot of persistence. And a lot of times people are not going to tell you this, especially in the beginning when they're trying to recruit you for the school because they want your money, or they want you to sign up for their school because they have quotas to meet. And if you tell people, well, this is a great field, but you're going to have a hard time in the beginning finding a job, you may not get so many people to sign up for your program, okay? They're going to talk about all of the wonderful things that is tied to being a medical coder. They're not going to tell you how difficult it can be in the beginning. It is not impossible, guys. It's all about having a good mental mindset as well. You have to expect that it's going to be difficult in the beginning, okay? So this way, when it does happen for you sooner rather than later, you're going to be in a much more better place. I will tell you guys this. I have done, and I have a whole playlist about medical coding job listings explained. A lot of times people are asking me, what are employers looking for? The job listings tells you exactly what the employers are looking for. So you can go to any employment listing website. I have used Indeed for all of the job listings explained videos that I have. I use Indeed because it's really easy to navigate. You can use any. There's tons of employment listing websites, but I like that when you're looking at these listings, it's telling you everything that you need to know. So you got to make sure that your resume looks really good. That's first of all, okay? Your resume cannot be more than 2 pages. Do yourself a favor, only 2 pages. That's the max that your resume should be, okay? This is not in addition to the cover letter. The cover letter is completely separate. You have to have a really good cover letter. This cover letter cannot be like everybody else's cover letter, okay? Because if you're going to show the same thing everybody else is going to show, it's going to go right into that other pile, okay? Of this person is the same like everybody else, so we're not even going to call them. So you have to make sure that you have a really good attention-grabbing cover letter. Your cover letter needs to say something about you. It doesn't need to say that you're a team player, or that you're always on time, or that you want to be part of a team and that kind of thing. It doesn't need to say that. It needs to talk about you. Why should they hire you? That is the whole thing. Do they need medical coders right now? Absolutely. We are in the middle of this pandemic, and they do need somebody that is trained to look at all of these documentations, so that way all of this information can be accurate when they are reporting it, okay? So it is possible. But like I said, having a really good cover letter that is written out properly, because this is going to tell them right then and there if you can have really good verbal, like written skills, not verbal, but written skills, okay? Written skills is something that a lot of people don't think about that is very important. It is important, okay? If I was to be looking for employees, I would be looking for employees where the spelling is correct, the sentence structure is correct, and everything makes sense. I'm not going to try to hire somebody that I'm looking at their cover letter and they've got all kinds of weird things and their sentence structure doesn't make sense. What they're trying to say doesn't make sense. I'm not going to hire that person. Next. And it's not that I'm trying to be mean. It's just that this person that I hire has to be able to communicate with providers. Providers who are extremely educated, and they have very little to no patience for people who cannot make a clear point. When it comes to medical coding, this stuff is so important. There is a lot of things that goes into it. So therefore, you have to have really good communication skills, verbal, written, everything. Okay. You have to make sure that your point is clear. That's the whole first part. So you have to have a really good resume and a really good cover letter, and no abbreviations on your resume. I can't keep harping about this. Spell everything out, because your abbreviation may be different from somebody else's. And you want to make sure that everything is clear when they're looking at your resume. Okay. You have to apply at a lot of places, even places that say they want 1 to 3 to 5 years experience. Apply anyway. Do you know why? Because they're not going to know that you're available for hire unless you put yourself in front of them. So this may mean that you're going to apply at 20 or 30 different places. You may not get callbacks right away, but you have to be persistent. And if that place has another position open up again, you need to apply again. And you need to keep applying every single time. Being persistent and applying multiple times is what will get their attention. When I got my third position as a medical coder, I did do this. So the first time I applied for a position, I got the phone interview. So I got this phone interview, and I'm sitting there talking with them on the phone because I was at a different location. It was a completely different city, okay? And I'm on this phone, and I'm talking to 3 people, and we're on this teleconference, and they're asking me a bunch of questions. I'm using my book, looking up codes. We're talking, and they're asking me all these things and just giving me a little bit of quizzes, and I'm telling them what I know. They're asking me what my experience is, and keep in mind I had less than 1 year of experience at this time, okay? And so I'm giving them all of my background and telling them what my duties are and things like that. So then the supervisor says to me, well, if we select you, how soon would you be available to start? I said, 2 weeks to the day that I get the call, exactly 2 weeks to the day. And she laughs and she says, sure. This meant a couple of things. I had to be willing to relocate. And this was me relocating for the second time within the span of less than 1 year. And I was willing to do that. I was totally happy with going. And it wasn't about like that I was trying to do anything other than to get closer to home. This position that I have currently now is very close to my hometown, and that was my whole goal. You have to be very goal oriented. If your job is to, if your goal is to get a job, you will be focused on this. I was focused on getting back home as close as I could, because no one in my hometown would hire me. They want you to have experience, okay? So I had to literally go somewhere else after my temporary assignment, because my first job was a temporary assignment. So anyway, now that I've hopped all over these different subjects, so I didn't hear back. After that really good phone call, I did not hear back. And trust me, I was like, oh my God, I had a really good interview. I thought I was getting along with everybody and everybody really liked me. And all of a sudden, nothing. And that was in February. And I was like, and I called my mom. And of course I'm crying. I'm like, Mom. And so my mom was like, that's okay. Just, it's not your time yet. It's not your time yet, honey. Don't worry about it. It's not your time yet. So I said, okay. So then, come to find out, a few months later, in April, I saw another position, the same facility that I had the interview with, and it was another position, but it was a better position. And I said, you know what? I'm going to apply again, because regardless, I had a really good phone interview, and I know this is a higher position. I know this is a better position, but I'm still going to go for it. And the people around me were like, oh no, you'll never get it. You'll never get it. You'll never get in there. I said, well, what's the worst that could happen? They're going to say no. They never call me. They're already not calling me. So, I mean, I'm still going to go for it anyway. And I went for it. And you know what? As soon as that position closed, it wasn't just a matter of a couple of weeks later that I got a job offer. So the thing is, when I got to the position that I am in now, they said, well, we were so glad that you applied again, because that showed a lot of persistence, and you know they had hired somebody else, but they said we needed people and we really wanted you, so we're very happy that you applied again. It does take applying multiple times. Sometimes if you get shot down, apply again, because it's going to show that you really want to be there. Employers want people who are going to want to be there. They want people with a good attitude, a positive attitude, and something that is not that is not really talked about a lot is showing that persistence. Because if you can show that you're persistent enough, this means that you're going to be able to take whatever is thrown at you and you're going to be able to handle it. And you would not believe how many people can't handle some of these things that are thrown at them. It is about trying to just show the best part of why they should hire you. And me being as persistent as I was, they were like, okay. And it worked. So you may have to apply at 20 or 30 different places. You may be applying for a year. But the thing is, you have to make sure that your approach is consistent, that you are very, very motivated when you are applying. If you get an interview, just be yourself and be as eloquent in your speech as you possibly can. This is another thing too. You need to speak clearly. This is something that I've noticed when I've heard my boss giving interviews with other people. I can hear what they're saying, and I hear how some of them don't sound very confident with themselves, or some of them, they have really low speech and things like that. Like you can barely hardly hear them. And this is not something that an employer is going to want to have to sit there and interview with somebody they can't even understand. So that is another suggestion that I strongly recommend. But you have to be able to pass their entrance test. They'll usually give you like a quiz. Sometimes it's 20 questions. Sometimes it's 50 questions. They usually like email it to you, and then you can answer the questions. They'll give you like scenarios. And this is just to see where you are. So if you have been out of school for a while, you need to continue to study, because if you forget all of those things, then what did you go to school for? And you're basically sitting there with a useless credential if you can't be able to pass these simple entrance tests. And sometimes they're not simple. Sometimes they give you like kind of weird scenarios just to see how you'll be able to react to them, or how detailed you are. But you just have to make sure that you are doing what you can to put yourself in the best light. You have to be able to network. And I know right now it's difficult, especially with the pandemic going on. It is difficult to network, but making sure that your resume looks good and making sure that you're consistently applying with places and multiple places is going to really help you. I've gotten emails from people who said that they applied at 2 or 3 places and they're just frustrated because they haven't gotten a call back. They're not going to call you back if you're only applying at 2 to 3 places. You need to be applying everywhere. Okay. And if you can't get a job in medical coding right away, it's okay. There's always medical billing you can go into. Now, medical billing is not going to get you experience with coding, but it is going to get you exposure to codes and the code process and things like that, and which might be easier for you in the beginning. So depending on how well you were trained as well, because sometimes people go through these accelerated programs and the school just pushes them out just to try to get a bunch of people credentialed, and they're not really well trained. So they expect the people to get training while they're on the job, which is very frustrating because employers should not have to train you if you've gone through a program. And if you've gone through a program, those people at the program should have been able to train you a little bit better on coding. I get that a lot too, where people will say, I went through a program, but I feel like they didn't even teach me how to code. Some of it is going to be on the coder to learn how to teach themselves to code as well. I do have Quiz Friday, the playlist, and it's a lot of quizzes that I've come up with myself. So that way it'll give you guys some practice, and I talk about my rationale on the answer videos that are attached at the end of those videos. I do have Patreon. Patreon is my Patreon channel, patreon.com/medicalcodingwithbleu. Is just a lot of practice exercises as well. I do a lot of medical terminology exercises. I do crossword puzzles and things like that. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link for that down in the description box below. Now, back to what I'm saying. It is possible, but you guys have to be very persistent. Even if they're asking for 1 to 3 to 5 years experience, still apply anyway. And make sure your cover letter looks really good. And the fact that you may have to start out in medical billing is okay, because you don't have to stay in medical billing. It can be just temporary until you keep consistently applying. Or if you want to start off in medical records, Medical records will not be anything related to coding, but it will put you around the people who are going to be hiring for the coding. And that is the other thing as well. If you can get yourself around those people so that way they can get to know you and know what your work ethic is like, and the fact that you are trying to get in, that's going to motivate them even more to say, well, okay, let's give her a try or him a try. And if you do find a job in medical coding, congratulations. A lot of times, especially right now, they're probably going to send you home temporarily to code at home. Now, I never recommend doing remote coding for brand new coders. However, because we are in the middle of a pandemic, this is a different situation. You are going to want to be around people to ask questions. That is the main thing. You need to be able to ask questions, because trying to ask questions over email and you're brand new is not going to make a whole lot of sense, okay? But there are people that are hiring and they understand this right now. So there's been a lot of give in that department. A lot of times when you're brand new, they will probably still send you home anyway to code because they still need people, okay? And if they're hiring you, you're brand new, you have no experience, they're going to know this already. So all you have to do is do your best and make sure that you are giving it 120% so that they don't feel like they made a mistake with hiring you, because you are trying, okay? Everybody can learn this. This is something that can be self-taught. Is it harder when it's self-taught? Of course, but it's not impossible. Just like finding a job this year in 2020, it is not impossible. I do have a viewer who, and I talk about her all the time, she got her first job. She didn't have her credential very long either. She got her credential within 2 months. She got her first job because she was very persistent. So very proud of her. Congratulations again, Sierra. But you guys, this is possible. So make sure that you are having a good attitude. Don't get around people who say, "Oh, it's a scam and you'll never get hired," or anything like that. It's not a scam. Medical coding is the real deal, okay? But you just have to be persistent. And again, this is something that people and recruiters schools are not going to tell you in the beginning, because they want your money. They want you in the school, okay? And then the rest is up to you. So it's all going to be on how you take it. All right. So that's my show for today, but it is possible and you got to stick with it. And don't get frustrated if you don't get called back within, however fast you think you're going to get a call back. Okay. You can still continue to work even though you're looking for a job. I did. I worked 2 and 3 jobs when I was still looking for a job as a medical coder, and it wasn't fun. I worked as a bartender. I worked at a halfway house. I worked at a concession stand. I was on my feet working 7 days a week. I literally had no break when I was looking for a job in medical coding, but that was even more of a motivation for me to do a lot more of the applying, okay? Because I got a lot of that too. I got a lot of that. Well, you don't have experience. We can't hire you. And it wasn't until I went to the temporary agency that they were like, okay, here's this assignment is for 3 months, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. But then I did have some employers who said, well, you don't have any experience, but you passed our test. Please get experience so that you can come back and apply again, because they had a thing at their facility at the time that said that they needed to have people who had experience. And for the couple of positions that I did get like that, where they said that, they were like very disappointed because they couldn't hire me because of their own corporate policies. So sometimes that has a lot to do with it too. It may not be with the interviewer, but it's just with their corporate policies. To me, if it was me and my choice, I would definitely hire brand new coders, because there's no bad habits to break. And usually brand new medical coders are very hungry and they want to do a lot and they want to learn a lot. And I think that that's amazing. So you just have to be persistent and you can't give up, okay, whatever you do. And just because you're looking for a job doesn't mean you can't still work. That's what I did. So that's my advice for now. And I will go ahead and wrap this one up. I hope you'll hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified every time I have a brand new show coming out. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye!